October 3rd, 2018, this god-awful piece of content got released on the YouTube world.
G'day guys and welcome to my channel. I thought I'd start off by introducing myself and explain briefly what's going to be going on this particular tiny patch of YouTube. G'day fixers and welcome to the now annual tradition of doing a yearly YouTube catch-up and workshop tour to see what's been going on in the past 12 months and have a reflect on what I've been able to achieve in my little shop here in Sydney, Australia, and I hope you enjoy coming along for the ride. If you like to skip the boring YouTube statistics chatty part, then look down below and you'll see a jump stop to where you can get straight to the workshop tool and see what I've added over the past 12 months. But first of all, I'd like to reflect on a few more boring personal sort of stuff. Stick with me if you wish. I am going to be going off notes because there was a lot, as usual, and well, I was 40 this year, and my memory ain't working as good as it used to. 48 is the magic number. That's how many bits of things I managed to get onto YouTube, which sounds like quite a lot. But, like a lot of people, I've been cheating slightly. Of those 48 bits of content, 12 of them were shorts. I was and remain skeptical of shorts as a really enjoyable form of content for the kind of people who enjoy my regular content. But while I don't have any ambitions of being a full-time YouTuber, everything you do, you wish to be successful at. Growth is lovely, it feels nice to be rewarded for what you do, and shorts are part of that mix. If you are making content, then chucking a few shorts in helps the algorithm surface your other content. So even if it doesn't get you subscribers and long-term viewers like that, I have found that the shorts are assisting my channel growth. So I will continue to do them when I find something interesting to do them on, but you can rest assured this isn't going to become a shorts heavy sort of place to be. On top of that, that basically means I got a normal piece of content out about once every 2 weeks, which for a hobbyist part-time tuber like myself, I'm quite comfortable with. It's a pace that I can maintain and it's a pace that I enjoy doing. So perhaps the most interesting thing was to recount what actually got added to the workshop. We'll see that when we do the walk around, but very quickly I've got my list here of improvements I built. The track storage under the bench down here for the Kreg long bits of XL AccuCut track. That's been a very handy solution. The It's Not About the Stool video, which wasn't about the stool, but needless to say, the stool is pretty cool and I use it for getting up to my high places. The drill press stand, which houses my newish sort of drill press too, also great. The hardest one of the year, this bloody apothecary cabinet with 54 drawers. It was a lot of work, but I love it. It's organisation heaven and it's still not full, which is good. I've got room to grow into that. Suppose you call it a workshop improvement. My Aussie Makers Group sign hanging on the wall over there too. I've started my journey into hand tools and I am enjoying them. Not going dovetails yet, but you know, we might get there one day. And to display my lovely two new jack plane and block plane low angle, still learning a lot of these terms, I built this lovely little till as a practice piece. And of course, when you have things that are sharp, they require sharpening. And this was a bit of a joke video, really. I threw this thing together very quickly. It's very personalised, yet for some reason YouTube liked it. And that video did quite well on the sharpening storage solution. Not just what's in there, but the actual stupid little white scrapwood box did great too. And then last but not least, my latest and greatest creation, not quite greatest, is the hand tool cabinet. That was a tie-in for TimberCon. It was also part of Scrapwood Challenge, which is still going on. Well, as you're watching this, for Tim over at Woodworks in the UK, Scrapwood Build-Off, I believe is the hashtag for that. Get on board. If you are in the UK, you can win some lovely prizes. And it's just taken a few of the hand tools that were in my power tool cabinet and sort of separated the two. I've still got some hand tools over there, as we'll see in a second, but this was just a nice place primarily for the new chisels and files and rasps. You might see a bit of a theme here. I pretty much collected all of the power tools that I really needed. I don't think I did. Yes, I did actually. The rotary SDS hammer drill was a new power tool, but it's not even really a woodworking tool. It was for some handyman work I needed to do. I don't think I've actually added another powered woodworking tool in the past 12 months. I'm in a really happy place in the workshop, but the hand tool route, getting a bit more finesse, getting my options available to me, has been something that I've enjoyed this year and will continue to enjoy. I've got a couple of projects in mind which will definitely be using the buzz stuff, but also will feature the hand tools. And it's like anything, you do it long enough, you want to explore new ways of woodworking. and the planes and the rasps and the shaping and the hand carving. Good mate of mine actually got me these for my 40th birthday. Try not to make them tip out of the box. They are Japanese steel hand carving tools, and I have a project to practice using those in mind. Again, not something I've ever tried before, wood carving, but that was a lovely gift and I intend to use it over the next 12 months. There were some technique videos, a couple of Fixit fingers fibers, and some other bits and pieces. Not too many tool reviews, except for the infamous now Banggood Square review, which I needed to film twice. You can check that out up here, it was rather funny. And a couple of DIY videos and a few of my paid commission videos. I did 2 different jobs as a fake shipwright, which were both very interesting, and actually one of my most successful videos of the year came off the back of that, which was not the building of the boat per se, but it prompted me to share the different revenue streams that I have as a hobbyist maker that pays for this shop. I only ever have 2 goals for my workshop over any given year. One is that everything has a home, hence new storage projects, and 2, that overall, between my handyman work, my YouTube, and my woodworking, that I have not spent money. Everything in here is being paid for by the income generated, and using scrap wood is a big part of that. Not buying things I don't need is a big part of that. Sponsorship is part of that as well. I get gifted a few tools, which means I don't have to pay for them, so that helps the budget as well. If you'd like to see more on the money sort of stuff, then there is that video, which will go deeper into different ways that you can pick and choose to help you maybe generate a revenue from your hobby and help it pay for itself. In terms of overall growth with the channel, I'm pretty bloody ecstatic, really. In my first year, I still remember, I think I only had 70-something subscribers and a couple of hundred, maybe 1,000 or 2 views. And I didn't really care back then, and quite frankly, I don't really care now, but like everyone, you've got an ego, you've got some vanity, and seeing the numbers go up is nice. It's a way to measure achievement. Not the best way, perhaps, but it is enjoyable. You can't lie about that. And this year, doubling is effectively the story. In my first 3 years, I achieved about 4,000 subscribers and about 500,000 views. This year, I've added 4,000 subscribers and 500,000 views. I hit my million YouTube view, which was a lovely achievement about a month ago now. And I'm on track to hopefully, scoot on up to about 10,000 subs in the near future. The subs don't really matter. It's more how many people you're reaching with your videos. And luckily, I found that YouTube has finally started to promote my content to people other than you dedicated lovely fans watching this, and that has what's really driven the growth, and also the community sharing my work. Jesper, Dana, a whole bunch of other people who occasionally put my videos on their feeds, and that brings in a big new crowd. So thank you to all the people who have helped me grow this year. It is the reason why the workshop continues to pay for itself, and for that I am very grateful. Best video of the year continues to be the bloody workshop. What are we up to? 170, 180,000 people have now seen the inside of my study, and it's 2 years old now, I think, that video, but continues to be my best performing video over time. The best video I released this year has been a stupid one, which Vic from Downunder Woodworks prompted me to do, where I got the AccuCut, and I quickly filmed it while I was in the middle of another project, responding to some doofus who said it was the worst tool that he's ever bought. And look, to be fair, he was probably just doing that for clickbaity reasons, and I'm big guilty of that too, because this video was incredibly clickbaity, where I said it was the worst tool ever, and then went on to show in 3 seconds of why he was, well, exaggerating perhaps his point of view, and why I do enjoy the Kreg AccuCut. And because of the clickbaity nature, that video took off and got 10,000 views in 24 hours, which has never happened for me before and has not happened since, and probably won't again for a while. But yes, that's the sad reality of YouTube's, is that if you go the clickbaity route, and you might have noticed my thumbnails, thanks to DIY for Knuckleheads in part, have changed. They're not quite as factual as they used to be, if you want to put it nicely. I try to find better thumbnails which are clickbaity to a degree, but still explaining the content to which I put. I think that's the mix you sort of try to hit. So apologies if anyone doesn't like them, but as we said, you want to be successful, and sadly tests have proven that those sorts of thumbnails and titles are the ones that people who aren't subscribers click on, and that's what leads to growth. Two last things I'd like to mention before we quickly get into the workshop tour for 2022, and that was the Maker Meetup, which was hosted out in Western Sydney by Built by Chris, Sumo, RYD Handyman, and a few other the Victorians came up to, and what a fantastic night that was. Ainsley Small Fry was the host at her place of business. Was the place where we went to have some beer, pizza, and pork knuckle. Giant bloody thing. It was delicious, and it was so great meeting people who I have been friends with, genuinely some of my best friends over the past couple of years, and I've never sat down and had a beer with them, and we corrected that with not everybody, but a very good proportion of them. That was an awesome night, and I really hope that we can organise another Maker Meetup in the near future, and maybe even travel down to Victoria now that things have opened up again to do that with a great group of ladies and gentlemen who you don't often get to physically hang out with in this fairly solitary hobby of ours. Top stuff. And lastly, it would be remiss of me to go any further without thanking my channel members. I recently got Amazon Prime. First time I've ever had a paid TV service, but Lord of the Rings made me do it. It's awesome. Totally worth it. And it's like $8 a month. International streaming service. Supporting Fixit Fingers, who releases 2 crap pieces of content every 4 weeks. It's pretty easy to see where the value lies, and so while I won't question your motives for wanting to support me, I will thank you very much and deeply for those who choose to do so. I don't advertise this terribly often, it's in all my videos, but that's more to thank the people who are channel members to put their name on the screen. But once a year, during this yearly review, I do ask those who would like to become a channel member to do so. There's some very cheap, I think they're $2 options, and very bluntly, all of that money just goes into my Fixit Fingers kitty so that when I wish to add a workshop improvement to make more content and to continue to do the things that I do here for the community and for myself as well, for my mental health and enjoyment, those funds come into play. That's the long and the short of it. No pressure at all, but if you are interested in joining, I will send you out some stickers, a note, and you get access to my monthly blog so you can hear my wonderful baritone voice more often. Alright, that's enough rambling on. Let's do some different kind of rambling on. We'll pick up the camera, give you some motion sickness, walk around and see how the Fixit Fingers workshop looks now.
Alright, 2022 Fixit Fingers workshop tour, and I'm going to start by showing you what I film on. I'm actually going to do the tour on my phone. If you are doing this full time, then having a little light panel and yourself a camera. This is the Panasonic Lumix FZ300i, I do believe. It's a couple of years old now, mirrorless. Fixed lens, but it has a large zoom capability. That's what I do all of my shooting on. So what do we got going on here? Well, this is the heart of my workshop, but it's against the wall because you probably realize, if you've seen any of my videos, my car lives in here. I live in a unit and I do not have any other space to put the car of an evening, so this needs to be open the vast majority of time, and everything else is on wheels and mobile so that I can move it out into this space, and the key of that is this lovely guy here. My workbench. I've got plans for this available on Etsy. It is holding up after a year. It did feature in last year's video, and it's got a few different improvements on there too. Really, I roll that out into the middle, and it's just been a godsend having those clamping options. Here's one of the newer parts. I added track saw storage under here, and I think that might be new this year as well, the Kreg Sawhorse, which I can do in combination with the workbench to get onto really big projects using my Fixit Fingers Fukas. They were a little bit of a joke, but they did work very well when I was doing the boat build, and so my primary work surface and my secondary work surface can let me work on just about anything that I would need to do. The big mystery with this one, I suppose, is why is there an open, unsupported edge there? And that's because one of the things I wanted to do, but didn't quite get around to, it'll be on the cards for early next year, is to have a second bench underneath here that's going to roll in, and I'm effectively going to double that space. This bench is quite high, it's up to 1 meter, and under here I can get a 900, a regular height bench, and it will have a router table in it. So I hope to replace this old girl, which is one of the very first things that I built, and I still use to this day, and will until I build its replacement, use as a router table. So that's going to roll under there eventually. Above that, I have got my primary tool storage. Kreg rip cut in the corner, drill and nail gun storage under here, And my main power tool storage. I am a power hand tool woodworker, and this is where just about everything lives. I think the only new thing this year, as we mentioned before, is the rotary SDS hammer drill. Awesome piece of kit. Not a woodworking tool, but I am a handyman, and that, in this brick building, comes in very useful. So much easier than using the little underpowered hammer feature on your combi drill. So you don't need huge amounts of tools. I don't have the table saw, I don't have a joiner, don't have a thicknesser yet. You know, those things may come one day, but Team Teal, big fan of my Makita. I have not had a single breakdown, issue, replacement, anything. And I have had these tools, most of them, for 4 years-ish now, maybe a bit longer even. I think I might have got them. And I've got my battery station here. This system just works fantastically well for me. I've started to move out some of the hand tools into new homes. We'll see that in a second, but I think the whacking and cutting is going to stay here. That's my primary power tool storage, and I love it. It works fantastically well. The hinges, piano, a little bit squeaky, need an oil, but not sagged in the 2 years, I think, since I built this particular cabinet. My sanding station with all of my Abranet sorted by grit and grade down here, excellent as well. Plenty of bed slats. I even picked up a brand new. I said I wasn't going to, but they're all bunched up in the gutter and just tied and ready to go. I've got more bed slats than I know what to do with. I really don't like paying for wood. The only non-woodworky thing left here, I think, is my lovely bike. While I've got the hardwood good recycled storage up there, more random panel storage and my large clamps that can't go anywhere, more sheet and panel goods at the back. The Aussie Makers Group. As we said, this sign was made for the Timber Tools and Artisans show, which I just don't know is the short answer. I put a lot of time and effort into helping those guys support what they do, and sadly there were some medical emergencies, there were floods, there was the Rona, and I don't know where Timber Tools and Artisans is now. I don't know if they'll ever come back again. Hopefully they're not gone, but it's been a very tough year, and my heart goes out to the organisers of that who have just not been able to catch a break. However, even though I made that for the show that never happened, it ended up coming to the Maker Meetup, where I got that lovely little laser engrave from Rob. And this you can scan. You probably pause your screen and even do it right there, which a couple of mates, Rhino, Ben, and Ash and I started a few years ago, and is a Facebook group where you can share your projects, get tips, help, sell some of your old tools if you want. Anyway, that was a really fun project made out of reclaimed cedar, which came out of some windows, which you tore out here, and a little bit of resin work too. Very nice little workshop decoration to have. This is the new part. It's sort of the encroaching wave, I suppose, of workshop blue. I've still got a little bit of space left, but we are slowly running out. This stool, I loved building this, and I loved the video that came out of it. If you haven't seen it yet, it's more of a woodworking philosophy, self-indulgent piece of tripe, but it was great fun. I think it is probably one of the better videos I've ever made. It didn't get a massive amount of love. It did well, but I was hoping more people would get to see that. But, it'll sit up there. And for me, the practicality, I should say, of the stool is fantastic. But on top of that, I enjoy rewatching that video and reminding myself whenever I'm feeling down what I do this for, because there's a lot encapsulated in that particular build. My drill press I have had for a while, but have not had set up, because this lovely drill press stand was a new addition to the workshop this year. It can roll out if I need to do really big things, but most of the time it can sit there. There's been a lot of reviews done on the Bosch PBD40. It's a cracking little unit. No, it doesn't have a huge amount of guts, but for the work I need it to do, it works really well. It's so light and portable, and it's just helped me do stuff, just simple things like being able to drill those holes straight has made them so much better than the one that I used to have in that cabinet over there. And one of the probably next projects I do will be building some more cabinetry for the hole saws and the Forstner bits and the other drill related accessories to live in that section of wall. The apothecary cabinet was by far and away the biggest, most time-consuming workshop thing that I added. There are 54 of these drawers, all of them pretty deep. They're pretty useful in terms of their storage capacity, and I just wanted to utilize this old workbench. I wasn't using it as a workbench, so I custom built those drawers in there to fit under that hutch, and it's organization heaven. Just being able to go, right, I need a 40mm 8G screw, and then come in here and being able to pull out the whole drawer. It's just gold. Absolutely mongrel of a thing to make. So many hours of work, so much repetition, but very, very, very handy to have. We mentioned earlier I have started to get into my hand tools, and these two lovely things are great fun. I don't know if I'm using them the most efficient ways yet. I've had to learn how to sharpen them, and I've got my sharpening kit with the Veritas Mark II jig in there too. That's been quite enjoyable as well. But yeah, having the hand plane, particularly one of these, even if you are a power tool woodworker, grab yourself a block plane. This is the low angle variety from the Melbourne Tool Company. Pretentious name, but a good quality tool in that middle price range. And I am very much enjoying having those things available to me. And along with, some of the rasps and files and stuff, I'm probably going to have a slightly more hand tooly feel to the channel over the next 12 months as I really try to embrace that hybrid woodworker type scenario. These cupboards up here are some of the older ones I have. This one is just filled with paints, finishes, waxes, cloths, those sorts of things. All my resin is up there as well. Clamp rack hasn't changed. I do not think I've bought a new clamp. No, I have not. I've not added a single new clamp to the workshop this year, which is an achievement in and of itself. Up here, I just got my handyman tools, the sort of stuff that I don't use that often, the Wagner paint sprayer, my tool belt, things that only get pulled out every so often. Was this new this year? If it wasn't, it's only very recent. That is the Kreg 720 pocket hole jig. I've actually not been pocket holing quite as much. I don't know if that's just due to the nature of the projects that I've been building. Still got the number 5 hanging on the wall too. I'm probably going to have to sell that or find a new home. I might give it away to someone if I can find a young woodworker just starting out, because that's a brilliant piece of kit, which I just don't need because, while it's good, the 720 is better. Auto adjust and all the rest of that. My primary cleaning device, just for blowing the crap out of the workshop at the end of the day, and I don't think anything down here has changed. I still am in love with the Bosch Axial Glide Mitre saw. It is a fantastic bit of kit, and while I don't have many big power tools, that is the one that makes my life super easy. More scrapwood storage under here. The little shop vac, look, it's still doing well for the crappy little Ryobi and the very cheap Sherwood dust cyclone extractor on there. It's not sensational, but it does the job well enough. And one of the next purchases I wish to make is this space up here, and I've already got the PowerPoint for it too, is real dust extraction. So I want to get one of those pleated filters. My only real question is that I can really only fit the 1 horsepower on there, and most people I know who've got a 1 horsepower system have quickly wished they got a 2 horsepower system. So I can't put a 2 horsepower system in here. It would be overkill for all of the things that I need it for, and noisy and dusty without the pleated filter. I need to think about that because, yeah, let's put the word out there. Thicknesser is what I'm thinking in terms of my next tool. I've got a few places I could perhaps store it if I get the lunchbox style. If I get a thicknesser, I have to have dust extraction, and I've got to decide how that is going to work. But again, I'm probably going to do the router table first, and I'm going to do that not budget. So expenses and things, priorities, all the rest of it. So there's the end of the tour. Small space, some new things added, and some new things to come. Thank you once again for your continued support for the Fixit Fingers channel. I hope that you enjoy the semi-regular content that comes on out every couple of weeks. If you got anything you'd like to see me done, don't ask, because my list is already far too long. Just kidding. I really enjoy doing this, obviously, making the content. I'd be talking to myself if it wasn't for you watching. So thank you again to everyone who has followed along for the journey. And on to, hopefully, in the next year, 10,000 subs would be lovely, but mostly just some more projects, some more fun, and shenanigans in the Fixit Fingers workshop. James out. I'll catch you on the next one.